Greetings, fam. Today I wish to discuss the true purpose of entertainment. Entertainment has been around for many years, and if you're wondering why I'm wearing the mask, it was just really to bring about the point of entertainment and its hidden agenda, because once I take off the mask, you can actually see who I am. But entertainment is meant to disguise what it really is, and hence today's video. I want to preface this by first breaking down the word entertainment. This is something that I'm sure many of you have never really thought about. Now, we know the word enter means to go inside. However, the root word tain means to hold, as in a container, which is what our bodies are. We are a vessel that takes in things, and a lot of times we use it as a container because we hold these things in, just like we hold our thoughts in our head. Some of us can't get over our past. Well, tain means to hold, and this actually should really have a hold on you, realizing where the whole thing is going to. Finally, the last part of the word entertainment is ment, which is a suffix that is used to form nouns expressing the means or result of an action. So when we string this whole word together, entertainment, it means that it is something that enters us and holds us in order to result in a desired action. And hence today's video. Stay tuned, and as always, thank you. The messages and evil symbols that have been appearing obsessively in all fields of entertainment shows us two things. First, they work. If they were not effective, then no one would even insist on using these symbols and things that are projected to us on a daily basis. And secondly, because all the efforts that are made in this direction have a purpose. And the purpose is the orientation of the human beings, which is us, to dwell into a gloomy area of low passion, ignorance, and suffering in order to prevent our development and evolution. Because transformation is the natural course and order of things, and our existence, if good takes root, then the more fiercely we are able to fight to inoculate evil in the lives of ourselves and in others. So the further away that entertainment can take us away from our godly purpose, the more likelihood of us delving into those things which are ungodly. And this is also how brainwashing works. The more that one is exposed to a repetitive image or idea, the more likely one will eventually begin to accept it. Now, movies and soap operas, their approach tends to lean even more on the demonic plots. I don't know if any of you have ever wondered why in all movies there is at least one crime. And although there are just so many social topics that could be addressed and should be explored, the most frequent one is death. And I agree, a strong plot is essential in the making of a film scenario, but how and why have we come to accept so easily the fact that in every movie there's a character that is killed? They're killing each other. It is important to understand that it is not necessary to have as many characters as possible killed for a movie to be good, but people have come to accept in the most natural way the idea of crime through the constant repetition, again the brainwash, of a specific scenario. And this is over years and years and years, to the point where if we go to a movie and we see a horrific crime reenactment, it doesn't even cause us to budge anymore because we're so accustomed to this. We almost expect it. And this can be seen replicated in the great number of murder rates that take place in real life. People have become numb to the fact that this is wrong, that this is something that should not be done. We've got youth out there who can't wait to catch a body. Now, what if the main topic of the movies would not be the desire of revenge, but forgiveness or humor or wisdom? Well, these movies don't break the box office. Now, there was a great Satanist, and I say great in that he was well known and he was followed by many, many people. In particular, many celebrities followed this wicked man. And so he achieved a certain type of greatness in this world that is reserved for those who follow Satan. What he doesn't tell you in the end is that you do pay, and I'm sure that somewhere 𝗠𝗘𝗧𝗘𝗥𝗧𝗔𝗜𝗡 is paying for the wickedness that he helped promote. But one of his quotes from a book that he wrote, which was called The Devil's Notebook, is that television is, and I quote, "Television is the major mainstream infiltration for the new satanic religion." Now, this guy died, I believe, in the 70s, but he was very popular throughout the 50s and the 60s when television was in its inception. And he said back then, and I quote, "The TV set, or satanic family altar," which is what he called it, "has grown more elaborate since the early 50s, from the tiny fuzzy screens to huge entertainment centers covering entire walls with several TV monitors." Now, this was prior to what we have today, which is the huge flat screens. But what he was referring to were there were people who, prior to flat screens, they would have dozens of TV screens covering a wall so they could watch all types of things simultaneously. And again, his quote is, "What started as an innocent respite from everyday life has become, in and of itself, a replacement for real life for millions." This, and he's talking about the means of influencing and controlling people through TV programming, and pay attention to that word because it simply means that we are being programmed. And I continue his quote, and at the end he says, "is a major religion for masses." And that's from his book, The Devil's Notebook, 𝗠𝗘𝗧𝗘𝗥𝗧𝗔𝗜𝗡, and he was the founder of the Church of Satan. And now let's move up to the present day, and what do we have? Well, Satan has become a main character of television series. The Fox Broadcasting Company has launched in 2016 a new television series praising Satan. The show was called Lucifer, and its main character was the Prince of Hell, excuse me, who decided to live among people, and he settled in Los Angeles. And Lucifer, he's presented as a young, handsome, charismatic, and intelligent young man, and who all women want and all men want to be. Now, the full name of the character is Lucifer Morningstar, or better, Star That Shines. And the obvious intention of the producers was to be able to attribute the idea of an evil yet interesting, new, and ascending and generally accepted character. He owns a nightclub, and which is significantly called Lux, and he's bathing in money, he's drinking and partying, and he plays with people around him. He never turns into a good character. Lucifer makes himself pleasant to the public due to his rebellious, arrogant, charismatic features, and also to the supernatural powers that he owns. Thus, his demonic side is easily overlooked. And how many of you are guilty of that? You can see some beautiful creature and you lust after it without even knowing if a demon dwells within. And this character, it negatively influences all of those who not only are within the script and within the who are the characters that are portrayed, but he also negatively influences the people who watch this show. Because in your mind, you are being fed this illusion that Lucifer is something to aspire to be, a demonic character who uses money and fame and power to lure people into evil. Now, there's another successful television series which is even similar to Lucifer, and it is about moral values that are completely overturned, and the negative and evil characters have main roles in the story. And this is the story of Dexter. Dexter is a serial killer who is obsessed with blood. The role of his character becomes easily accepted and loved due to the fact that he kills what? Only the bad people, criminals in their turn. Thus the public becomes appreciative that a very small good thing is acceptable in contrast with the great evil, and is represented by the fact that Dexter is a serial killer. He is instead presented as an angel that deals with dirty business. And how many of you are familiar with the story of Robin Hood? This was someone who went around and he stole, but he gave to the poor. Two wrongs do not make a right, no matter what context. Now, there are other more television series which deal with demonic or infernal characters, and that's and these characters they're usually involving some type of Walking Dead. In fact, one of them is called The Walking Dead, which is zombie invasion. Then you have Supernatural, A Game of Thrones, Carnival, Sanctuary, American Horror Story, and it goes on and on and on. Vampires, demonic spirits, and monsters of all kind are presented in the films of the last few years. And not only in the television series, Horns, Maleficent, Dr. Hannibal Lecter, that whole franchise, The American Psycho. These are all examples of featuring demonic characters as in the main role. Something where people can actually, they even did a spoof of Hannibal Lecter on one of the awards shows. These are things that people have come to idolize, and the increasing number of such productions are clearly what direction mankind is headed. It's not a simple accident, but something programmed, again, which involves the education of people. And it is also shown in the evolution of movies for children. I have mentioned in previous videos how I forbid my grandkids when they were young from watching Harry Potter. My daughter used to buy every Harry Potter movie that came out, and she would have my grandkids sitting there looking at this demonic stuff which promoted every type of evil and witchcraft and things that children should not be ingesting. And to this day, now my grandkids are 17 and 20, and there is a problem. Maybe not a serious one yet, but there is a problem. They're thinking the older one, he's quite mean for no reason. He didn't have a bad childhood. He got almost everything he wanted. He had a great father. But he is angry at the world at 20. In the Ukraine, the most popular animated movies are considered dangerous for children. The National Expert Commission of the Ukraine on the Protection of Public Morality has examined that the most popular animation TV series are dangerous. The commission considered animated series such as The Simpsons, Family Guy, The Teletubbies, Shrek, and Futurama to be projects designed to destroy the concept of family and to promote the consumption of drugs and other vices. Why in America do we not have a commission like this that exists to monitor what our children are watching? Now, this commission's report indicates that the animation movies are deliberately created so that the children become abnormal people who spend all day watching TV with mouth open, buying all the information presented. And this is a behavior that applies to the psychology of losers. And I can tell you for a fact, there are some adults I know who are well into their 20s who all they do all day is sit around and play video games and smoke weed and drink. And the video games usually involve some type of murderous behavior. They're either stealing cars or they're killing people in the process. And there are even some video games that promote rape and all types of other deviant behavior. Now, according to this study, as a result of watching such series, the series that are that the Ukraine has vetoed and said that the children should not be allowed to watch, the children become violent and they start using ugly language and become depressed. Surprise, surprise. And Japanese animation movies are considered obvious examples of sexual propaganda. Now, this is nothing new. In Japan, there is a huge sexual overtone in things, and the line between children and adulthood is a very thin one. Very thin indeed. Fashion is another way in which evil is promoted. Even when it's about wearing clothes, it's not the strange and hideous outfits that are presented on the runway, but clothes and accessories are presented in the strangest way. Fashion houses, the famous ones especially, are paying large amounts of money to promote luxury brands in a way that may be considered at the very least bizarre. One example is this pictorial in Vogue Italy, which was called cinematic, and the designer's clothes are combined with elements such as abuse, dehumanization, and death. Now, I want to ask rhetorically, do these editors of Vogue Italy really believe that those who watch these pictures are impressed by the clothes? In 2014, photographer Raj Shittai made a pictorial inspired from a real-life rape case that took place on a bus in New Delhi, India, in 2012. In this case, the young girl was abused by a group of men, and she died as a result of her injuries. And these are the pictures that Raj, which I'm not stereotyping, but my guess, Raj, which he spells R-A-J, is an Indian. So how could you dishonor this horrible thing that happened to this young girl by making a pictorial to sell clothing? In Vogue Brazil, there are images of young girls photographed in totally inappropriate situations for their age. They're photographed undressing from indecent angles, imitating sexy poses, and promoting sexuality at an early age. And these are just the pictures that I could show you. For the Marc Jacobs 2014 campaign, singer Miley Cyrus is placed next to a dead girl. And then we wonder why Miley has so many issues. It's important to realize that the obsession with which these negative aspects are promoted is not a coincidence. We are bombarded on all sides by evil symbols and situations in order to accept and even embrace them. Now, and many of you follow the example of so many of these stars. And it's not a secret that a lot of them use symbology in their photos to convey, who they serve. But now even child stars are seen making the sign of the all-seeing eye, which is further evidence that the satanic cults are trying to convey certain ideas in people's minds from an early age. Knowing all this, it is important not to fool ourselves by playing into the hands of those who are striving from the shadows to push people into a degrading state of confusion of our reversal of values. The Apostle Paul said, and I quote, "Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things, and the God of peace will be with you." And that's taken from Philippians 4:8. People, I ask you, please, if you see things that are not edifying on your television sets, if your children are watching things that's going to give them nightmares, that is not godly, that is detrimental to their well-being, that could possibly implant some type of negative seed, have the wherewithal to not only turn it off or change the channel, but to also open a dialogue so that your children can understand why they don't need to be feeding themselves these type of things at an early susceptible age. Once we are adults, we are able to then choose and fully use our power of discernment. But young minds can be easily poisoned if we allow them to ingest things that are not for them. The makers of these things are not going to tell you that this is not for children. Sure, they'll post up not suitable for younger viewers, but that sometimes is the enticement that younger viewers need to watch the program. How many of us are fall victim to temptation? We know we shouldn't do it, but that almost is the reason why we do it, because it's forbidden. We want to taste the forbidden fruit, as in the beginning of time. We always want that for which we have been told we should not have. Lord, I ask a blessing on your word. I ask a blessing on the message. I ask a blessing on the people who have tuned in. I ask that the people will retain the information that is contained in this video. I ask these things in the mighty, mighty name of Jesus. Amen.